What is going on, people? This is your old pal CHH. Welcome back to Horror Blu-rays. Horror Blu-rays. I want you to own. Look, I love doing this show, and I know it's a fan favorite. At least I think it is. It feels like it is. But I can't do them daily because it's going to cost people money. And I got a pretty cool number of titles to show you guys, right? So if you're not familiar with the series, if this is your first time, Horror Blu-rays I want you to own is literally exactly what the title is. So odds are you probably weren't asking yourself, I wonder if Christian's going to explain what this is. I'm a basic guy. I don't need to trick people. Whatever the video's about, that's the title. Most of the time. Sometimes I'll clickbait. But I try not to. But without further ado, we're going to get into it. Of course, I've got 10 titles. This is the reboot version of the show. It used to be 5, and then I realized 5, nobody can really sink their teeth into 5. And then, you know, I don't expect everybody to watch this video and be like, okay, I'm going to buy all 10. No. The reason I do 10 now is for the variety. And be like, oh, I never got that, or I didn't pick that up before, or this sounds good, let me try and grab that. And you have more chances of finding something in the stack that really catches your attention. So that's the reason we're doing 10 and not 5. So without further ado, guys, we're going to get right into it with number 10. And I always like to put some Scream Factory stuff in here because it is a very popular brand for people to get into. This is a Wes Craven film that the number one reason you should own it before anything else, honestly, is the soundtrack. The movie in question is Wes Craven's Shocker. Now, I love Shocker. Shocker is an absolute freaking masterpiece to me. No, it's not. It's actually a fun little 80s movie, though. It actually had decent reviews back in the day. But one of my favorite artworks is this. There's something so lovable, yet simple about the Shocker soundtrack. Now, a lot of people say that this is Wes Craven ripping himself off. That's basically true, I guess. It's very Elm Street-esque. But the opening of Shocker is so good. It's actually insane how good it is. The unfortunate thing is, it's about a whole letter grade better than the actual movie. If you watch it, you'll see. But the movie is about a C+, but the intro scene is an A-. It's a really good intro. But the 101, because it got bonus points, it was so good for this, is the soundtrack. You've got Alice Cooper. You've got the Dudes of Wrath, which featured Tommy Lee, Paul Stanley, Desmond Child. It was a super group doing the song Shocker, the actual song for the movie. And it's beyond incredible. The soundtrack is incredible. I'm still trying to get it on vinyl. It's hard to find it, though. But it's a good movie. It's a good-looking Blu-ray. It would be something I would upgrade to 4K if they did it, but I don't know if they will, because the thing about Shocker, this was under the Shep Gordon label for movies. Shep Gordon was Alice Cooper's manager, and he kind of got into making horror movies. And he was one of those guys that didn't even like horror movies, but he knew that they just made money, especially in the 80s. So he's like, let's just make a horror movie and put all the rock guys in it. So it's actually got a really good soundtrack. It's a 10.1 out of 10 soundtrack. Fun movie. It's got a lot of energy. Beautiful music, because Desmond Child did the music for it. If you don't know who Desmond Child is, Desmond Child was the producer in the 80s. He took bands to superstardom like Bon Jovi. He resurrected the career of Alice Cooper and made him a multi-platinum artist again in the 80s. He did a record with Rat, which is Detonator, which is honestly Desmond's best work in my humble opinion. I love that record so much. So he's a producer that just knew melody like nobody else. But this is actually a really good release. I think Desmond actually has an interview on here too, because this was during the golden era of Scream Factory. So can't go wrong with Shocker. So I'm going to shut up about Shocker now, but it's a good movie. I feel like not enough people check that one out. It's fun. The next one I want to talk about is a found footage movie I really like. This is a movie that came out during the pandemic, right? And, you know, when you hear about, like, this was made during the pandemic, it's a found footage movie done all over the internet. I used to chuckle at stuff like that, but I've actually really fallen in love with that aspect of found footage. I think that was the next evolution of found footage, is the streaming, the Skyping, and that sort of thing. And I thought it was really good. I loved this movie, as a matter of fact. I give it an A-. That is Host. So the thing about Host is, yes, it was a Shudder original, and I love that Shudder puts their movies out on Blu-ray. I wish they would do a nice steelbook for this. But then again, what would it look like? You know, that's... who knows? All right, so the thing about Host that I love is this. The movie is 59 minutes long. I think it's this version, the Blu-ray version, is like 64. Like, they add a few extra clips in here for the movie that are so... they're good enough to where you don't even notice you're seeing extra stuff, because it fits in with the movie so well. And the thing is, I think the version of this movie is just the extended cut. You don't get the streaming version, which cuts out like 3 minutes. You just get that version in here. But let me see what the length is. 65 minutes. So with credits, it's 65 minutes. And I'm telling you, it's the perfect length. This is the perfect length for a movie. There's no BS in it. It starts out, you get the story, you get what's going on. It's basically an online seance. And what can I say, man? Like, I was a believer. I was one of those people that heard about it, and I was like, I'll believe it when I see it. If it's that good, I'll check it out. And or if it's that good, I'll admit it when I check it out. And sure enough, I checked it out. Loved it. So, yeah. And great reversible artwork. Look at that. I'm glad I showed that because I forgot. Yeah, you can reverse the art. And they made this into a Fright Rag shirt, which you've probably seen me wear before if you're a viewer of this channel. So, very, very cool. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah. Host. Good found footage movie, and it's not that shaky. The beauty of this subgenre of found footage is the shaky cam people can finally check out found footage and not get sick. Because I get it. Like, I can't be on boats. I get really sick when I get on boats. I didn't used to, but once I got older, I got to where I cannot get on a boat or I get horribly ill. So, next up, shout out to my pal Kyle who sent me this. I did not know about this being on Blu-ray, and I can't actually comment on the other film. I wish I could, but this is a fairly priced Blu-ray. It's a double pack. So, it was a while back I did a YouTube short on Terrifier. Now, I'm a Terrifier fan, don't get me wrong, but I was talking about how my favorite look of the clown was actually pre-Terrifier. And some people were like, oh, really? I didn't know about that. Basically, this was a character that Damien Leone put into a movie called All Hallows Eve, right? And I have a DVD of that movie. All Hallows Eve is it's not a found footage, it's an anthology movie where art is just this clown is just like a little portion throughout the movie here and there. He's just a little additive. He's almost like the jester in the Puppet Master movies. He doesn't really do too much, but you see him and he catches your eye. You're like, oh my god. And I showed the DVD off of that. I didn't know that this was on Blu-ray, so I watched it, and I do notice the picture quality improvement in this. It does look better. It does look better, so I was very happy with this. And I have to check out Mischief Night. To be honest, I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to tell you it's good or not, but All Hallows Eve is good, and it's on Blu-ray. And what surprised me was that, you know, it was a double build Blu-ray too, so I was like, I don't know if it's going to look any better. I thought it looked better, and it's a great way to watch a movie. It's clearly going to be the way I watch this. This is actually a good yearly Halloween movie. So this year, I'm definitely going to pop this back on and check it out. So All Hallows Eve, guys, is a great little movie, and it's my favorite look of Art the Clown. Nothing against David Howard Thornton, that's his name. No, nothing against him. It's just that guy who played him in this movie, just creepy as hell. Really creepy. So next up, guys, is going to be a movie that I just really want people to check out. Okay, this is the first time I've done this in a horror Blu-ray, so much you don't, obviously. But I did a video last year. I did a really cool, I thought it was cool, a retrospective looking back at the 2006 Night of the Living Dead movie. And if you watch that video, I recommend checking that video out because it really gives you a sense of what was going on, the budget of that movie, the purpose of that movie, etc., etc. But then I learned in the research I did for that video that there was a prequel that came out 6 years later. And the reason it kind of came out 6 years later is because The Walking Dead revitalized the zombie horror genre. Zombie horror genre, Christian. Like there's other zombie genres. The zombies drama genre, the zombie comedy genre. Maybe there are, I don't know. Anyway, so the director of that movie came back and did a prequel that you don't really need to see the 06 movie to enjoy, but it's Night of the Living Dead Reanimation, and I really think that some people are going to see this and see like, that's not that bad. He got more money for this one. He got Jeffrey Combs and Andrew Devoff. Obviously, Jeffrey Combs probably rings a bell to most of you. Reanimator, but if you don't remember Andrew Devoff, he is the Wishmaster. And I like this movie. As a matter of fact, there's one scene in this movie where you go into the back of the morgue, where Andrew Devoff is running the morgue, and there are zombie bodies in there, and when they go into this back room, you can, from the screen, smell this room. You can feel the grossness of this room, and the zombies look disgusting. It was actually a cool scene. Now, here's the issue with this. There is a Blu-ray release of this in America. This is completely region-free, so right off the top, boom, you're good. But there is a release in America, but it kind of went out of print. But thankfully, this one is not out of print. I got it off of Amazon, and it even says region ABC. So it's not one of those things where you're like, well, Christian, maybe it played in your player, and it won't play in my player. No, it's region-free. Now, you don't have to worry about this being a Blu-ray 3D. Just put it in and hit play, and it's going to look 2D. I don't even know how you access the 3D version here. That was the funny thing. I couldn't even figure out how to access the 3D version here if I wanted to. You put it on, and it just says play. But it's completely 2D, so you don't have to worry about it looking weird. So I highly recommend the 101 Films version of this because it's probably a lot easier to get. But I'm telling you, I liked this movie. I liked it. I did. I thought it was an okay movie. And you got to understand where I'm coming from with this. If you kept up with my Night of the Living Dead Garbage Bin series, which I did, where I talked about Necropolis, Rave to the Grave, 06, and this movie, I said this is clearly the best Garbage Bin Living Dead movie, hands down. It's the best one. And I just think it's a good movie. So I definitely recommend this one, guys. Because it's just so cool to have it's so cool to see a bargain bin Living Dead film be good. Or the garbage bin, whatever the hell I called it. So I really like it. Anyway, let's move on, guys. Next up, we got a slasher from Arrow Video. I'm going to sip this old Coke Zero real quick. I used to not like the Coke Zeros when they were the black cans. They had a bitterness to them. And these is the closest thing I've ever had to having a regular Coke. It's really good. I'm still a Pepsi guy, though, but I do like those. Anyway, the next one we have is directed by the great... Let me see if I can find the name. I got a sinus today, guys. I do apologize. Pollen's getting really bad out here. The director's name slips me, but I love this movie. Edge of the Axe. This was a great movie. This was one of the first times where I saw Diabolic DVD be the place to get the exclusive slipcover for this. They had a slipcover for Edge of the Axe. And this artwork by Justin Osborne is freaking insane. Look at that. I mean, that's just great. So one of the things I love about this movie is they actually do a Tom Savini special effects style in here. There's one scene where the axe killer, which we'll call him, is attacking somebody, and they use a rubber hammer, and they are really hitting them. Now, you would think, okay, that looks crappy. It didn't look crappy. As a matter of fact, it looked really good, and it looked very painful, and it was done really well. But this was a good slasher. I really enjoyed this one. This is one of the better slashers that are like the unknowns to most of us. Like, we're still learning about this stuff. You know, obviously there are experts that knew about this years and years ago, but when this came out, I had just heard about it. I heard about it from this release. It's a good one. It's really good. I really enjoy Edge of the Axe. I always confuse it. Edge of the Axe. So definitely recommend you guys picking this up. This was a great slasher film from Arrow Video. Next up, guys, a 1999 horror remake, which may not sound too good to you when you say that out loud, but then let me tell you about this. This is House on Haunted Hill. So House on Haunted Hill, the original, is obviously a staple. It's a classic. It's one of the biggest horror movies of all time. It's one of the most revered as just an actual classic. I've told the story. I'll tell it again because I think it actually will be a selling point for this release for you to pick it up. So we saw this at FYE. My wife was like, Christian, let's grab that. House on Haunted Hill is a great remake. And I was like, I'm not really that interested in it. It doesn't sound that fun to me. She's like, whatever. I'm telling you, it's really good. I go home, maybe a week later, this Fangoria article shows up called House on Haunted Hill 1999 is a mix between classic horror and the modern style of the time. And it showed some image that looked really cool. Excuse me. And so I was like, Sydney, I read this article in House on Haunted Hill and they made it look really cool. Let's go grab that. She was so mad at me. I get it. Because I didn't listen to her. So we went back and got it. And it really is that good. This is one of the better remakes from William Malone. He did this. He did another one, which we'll talk about, I think. I think this was him. It's going to be silly if it's not him. But this is out of those classic horror movies getting remade in the late 90s, early 2000s, this is hands away the best. House on Haunted Hill 99. So good. It's really suspenseful, too. There's some really great moments in that. All right, guys, from Synapse Films, I want to put this over because this is a great release. This is actually the super remastered versions, too. So even though this is not a 4K, the picture quality is out of this world, guys. This is the Demons 1 and 2 complete remastered versions that you can get for Blu-ray. And they look remarkably good. Vast improvement over their regular releases. And this is a great release. You get Demons on one side, Demons 2 on the other side. And in here, you're going to get that gorgeous Metropole ticket from the first movie. Look at that. It even talks about the transfer. You get the catalog book. Oh, here's the coolest thing. This is what I love. Let me see if I can get it. You get the birthday invite for part 2. I love Demons 2. Smart people love Demons 2. I'm kidding. If you don't like it, I understand. It's tone-wise, it's more of like a horror comedy for sure. But there are some great funny effects in here. I love the guy's head coming out the TV, the baby demon. I love it all. I love it all. This is a sensational release, guys. You really can't go wrong with the Demons 1 and 2 release. So highly recommend that. If you are a 4K person as well, but you don't own this, they did this version in 4K too, which I have because I'm a junkie. But both of those look insane, obviously. Let me see if this was Bill Malone. No, it was not. So strike my thoughts earlier. I grabbed a different. If I would have grabbed a different one from that era, it would have been him. This movie used to captivate me at the video store. This is number 8, and I used to look at the back of the VHS every time, and the idea of this movie seemed so scary to me. Now, as an adult, the jackal still freaks me out. Freaks me out big time. The movie in question is 2001's 13 Ghosts, which, dude, this is so great. This is Matthew Lillard in here. And this is a really interesting movie. It's almost like they go into this big cathedral glass house thing with tunnels and mazes, and they can't see anything, and they can't... It freaks me out. This would be the most horrifying, realistic thing to be in. Like, if I say realistic, if I was in this situation where I'm in this big building with all these glass tunnels and these ghosts that start showing up, and the one that's jacked, the big dude that's jacked up, that's got the nuts and bolts come out of his head, that dude terrifies me. But the jackal with the thing, this was like Evil Dead in a sense too. Really good movie. I love 13 Ghosts. I love it. If House on Haunted Hill is the best, I'm going to give it up to 13 Ghosts as the second best during that era for those classic horror movie remakes. Because I think 13 Ghosts was an old movie, right? I'm going to feel like such a jackass if it wasn't. Anyway, next up, guys. So this came out on 4K, but the Blu-ray release still looks sensational, and it's just a release. I think you have to own this, right? Like, you can get multiple Blu-ray versions of this, but it's not... This is the release, guys. I want to talk to you all about the Criterion release of Night of the Living Dead. It looks insane. Obviously, the biggest thing for this, from all the other releases you can get, is special features and picture quality. None of the picture qualities come close to Night of the Living Dead. This one was restored to its umpteenth degree and looks like a billion-dollar film, especially in black and white. Like I said, the 4K release of this came out, and it's marginally better than the Blu-ray version. I much prefer the simple packaging of those 4Ks, which is just a case. But these are the ones that, that slide out and everything. But first of all, that art is... God damn, look at that art. Yeah, there's great special features on here. And before George passed, this was a 4K digital restoration that he did. Supervised it. Just looks insane. I'm telling you, when you watch this movie from a 4K scan, you're going to be like, holy crap, how does this look that good? It does. It looks that good. So I really recommend this, guys. Like I said, if you're a 4K person, grab that version too. And last but not least, guys, you're going to have to go on eBay for this. I'm sorry, but it's worth it. I love this release. This is the Spanish Region ABC. It is Region ABC. The Spanish Blu-ray release of Blair Witch 1 and Blair Witch 2, The Book of Motherfrickin' Shadows, which I love. I love Blair Witch 2. Blair Witch 2 is kind of lost on physical media, especially in America, but there it is. So we'll look at this together. I love this release. You're going to have to go on eBay to get this more than likely. I got it on Amazon when it came out. So it looks like a reel-to-reel. You open that up. You get a booklet, which obviously I can't read because I failed Spanish. Well, I passed it, but I passed it with a D-. So, and that was high school. So that was, I graduated in 2010. So I was taking Spanish class in 2008 and 9. So however long ago that was. Can't even do the math. That's how old I am. All right, so then you pull this cap off of here, slide that back, and you've got your 2 movies in there. And they look good. I mean, Blair Witch 2 looks good. Obviously, Blair Witch looks like Blair Witch because it's shot on, home videotape. But I love this release. It's a great release. And if Blair Witch 2 never gets an American Blu-ray, I'm fine. Because this release works perfectly fine. And I don't remember if there were any special features. I don't think there were. But, getting the movie in high definition is such a big plus. So Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, I'm always going to be a big fan of it. This Spanish Blu-ray release is really, really cool. I wish America would do some more stuff like that. There it is, guys. 10 horror Blu-rays I want you to own. If you have any comments, questions, concerns about any of those, please drop it down below. Let me know which ones you're interested in, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm sure we'll do another one of those very soon, but thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up if you have not. Drop a comment below, and good old CHH. We'll see you guys next time. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.